So I have a ton of chemicals behind me on my detailing shelf, but if I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I really only use a certain number of them on my average detail. So there's some of these chemicals on the shelf that honestly, if I'm gonna be real with you guys, I only use them from time to time, and a lot of times I only use them on my own personal vehicles for the sake of I love detailing and I love trying different chemicals. But for the most part, guys, the chemicals that are actually in my detailing rig are the chemicals that are most valuable to me. These are the chemicals that make me money on an everyday basis. They clean fast, they get the job done, and they're, for the most part, extremely economical, and a lot of them are highly dilutable, meaning that I don't need to carry a ton of different stuff on the shelves, and I'm not constantly restocking, ordering stuff from the store, because I can stretch the concentrate a lot further. So today I want to go over my top most used chemicals that I actually carry in my detailing rig, and I want to give you guys the dilution ratio that I'm most commonly using each one of those chemicals at. So let's not waste any time, guys. Let's go ahead and talk about these chemicals. So here we are at the back of my detailing rig, and these are primarily the chemicals that I'm really working with on an everyday basis. When I'm out on location doing a detail, this is primarily what I have to work with. I don't have any of the other chemicals that I have on my shelf, and sometimes I may bring something off the shelf if I know ahead of time that I'm gonna need it or that I might want it. But most of the time, these are my workhorse chemicals. These are the chemicals that I'm using each and every detail to get the job done. So I'm gonna start pulling one by one each one of these chemicals out of the back of here, and yeah, just kind of show you guys what I'm working with and give you guys the dilution ratios of each one. So starting off first, guys, this is one of everybody's favorites from Superior Products, and it is Pink Perfection. Pink Perfection is an all-purpose cleaner. It is super versatile, and my standard dilution ratio for this guy is 10-1. So typically I'm using this guy 10-1 for all of the cleaning that I'm doing, but occasionally I'll bump the dilution ratio up to something more like 15-1 or 20-1 if I'm cleaning like some really delicate leathers or something like that that really just need a quick wipe down. So primarily I am always using this guy at 10-1, but I do kind of dibble and dabble with different dilution ratios depending on if I need something a little stronger or if I want something that's a little bit gentler for what I'm cleaning. But this guy right here will clean everything on the interior of a car, all your plastics, leathers, vinyl, rubber surfaces, floor mats, all that kind of stuff. And you guys can even clean carpeting with this stuff. But there's definitely some better options when it comes to carpet and upholstery cleaning, so I will go over those in just a minute. But this guy right here can pretty much do it all, so I would highly suggest adding this guy to your arsenal if you guys are not already using Pink Perfection. But this is a great all-purpose cleaner, and it is not a degreaser, and it is not as caustic as a lot of other APCs out there. So I really love this for the interior, and I can pretty much get an entire interior detail done with this one cleaning chemical. So I love Pink Perfection, and this is definitely one of the top chemicals from Superior Products that really got me to switch completely over to their brand, or at least as much as possible. So yeah, Pink Perfection is definitely a go-to in my book. Moving over from there, guys, this one is not from Superior Products, but I would absolutely love to see Superior Products come out with their own rinseless wash, something that is really versatile. You can mix it up in a ton of different dilution ratios to clean in different ways, or use it as a detail spray, or use it as a clay lube, all that different kind of stuff. But this guy inside of here is O&R, and I usually just like to have this filled up so that I can do touch-ups and all that kind of stuff when I'm done with a detail. If I left a couple fingerprints somewhere or anything like that, I'll go ahead and hit it with a little bit of O&R, wipe it up with my microfiber towel, and I'm good to go. But I also use this to pre-treat the entire vehicle when I'm doing like a rinseless wash or something like that. So I love having some O&R ready to go in a spray bottle, and I typically just have this diluted at its standard dilution ratio of 256 to 1. This one right here might be a little bit higher dilution ratio. It's probably like 300 to 1 because I just eyeballed it, but you get the idea. Up next, guys, we have Waterless Wash and Wax from Superior Products. I love this guy right here. If I want to just touch up my own vehicle, if I want to wipe it down midweek or something like that, knock the dust off the vehicle. I also use this for touch-ups and all that kind of stuff when I'm done with a detail. If I don't want to use something like O&R, I'll use something like this. This also has wax in it, so it leaves a good gloss and all that kind of stuff on the surface, and it is very, very, very slick compared to something like O&R, especially O&R at 256 to 1. So this is an awesome product. I use it all the time, but if I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I use this a lot on my own personal vehicle, not so much on client vehicles because I'm usually doing more of a deep clean process, but there's plenty of times that I use this on client vehicles. Maybe I just got done polishing a hood or something like that. I just got done putting my protection on it, and now I'm just kind of doing a quick final wipe down, doing some touch-ups and all that kind of stuff. Sometimes I might go for this over O&R. So yeah, it really just depends on what I'm working on, but I use this all the time on my own vehicle, if I'm gonna be honest with you guys. And I typically have this mixed up at 4 to 1, is just my favorite dilution ratio for it. It has a good amount of slickness, and gets the job done when it comes to just a quick waterless wash of your vehicle, or even your wheels and stuff like that. So really versatile. You can use it in a few different ways, but I typically have it diluted at 4 to 1 in here. All right, and we're not doing any of these in any particular order, but the next one that I want to show you guys is another one of my absolute favorites from Superior Products. This in here is Dark Fury. Now, Dark Fury from Superior Products is one of my top favorite products. It is a non-acid cleaner, and a lot of people know it for cleaning wheels and stuff like that, but I also use it to help pre-treat the vehicle if there's a ton of bugs or something like that on the front of it. And there's tons of times that I just end up foaming down the lower half of a vehicle with this stuff because it does a great job at removing traffic film and all of that type of stuff. So this is an awesome chemical. You can use it during your pre-wash process to help remove bugs and all of that. You guys can use it on your wheels and tires to clean your wheels and tires, and you can use this as a standalone wheel cleaner, or you guys can use this as part of a two-step process. So I'll show you guys the next kind of wheel cleaner that we have in here, but you can use it for a ton of different stuff besides just cleaning wheels, and that is Superior Products Wire Wheel Cleaner. Now, Wire Wheel Cleaner from Superior Products is one of my absolute favorite chemicals of theirs. It is really economical, highly dilutable. The standard dilution ratio for it is 4 to 1, which is the exact same dilution ratio that I typically use Dark Fury at. So it's really easy to remember, 4 to 1, 4 to 1 for both my wheel cleaners. But acid really helps me out when I'm doing a lot of my professional detail work. A lot of times I see cars in a little bit rougher condition than normal, especially clients that really only come to me maybe once a year or once every couple years. So for those vehicles, I typically am doing a two-step wheel cleaning process where first I'll hit it with some Dark Fury or hit it with the brown first, and then I'll follow that up with my acid. So I love using acid, and I also use acid a lot to help bring back ceramic coatings, to help unclog ceramic coatings. So typically I'm using this at 4 to 1, but there are a lot of times that I actually use this at 8 to 1 on the paint, whether that's for water spot removal or it's to unclog a ceramic coating to do an acid wash. So I really love this product. This is definitely one of Superior Products' staple products, and it is super economical when it comes to an acid cleaner. And you can mix it up in a few different ways to use it in different ways to clean your vehicle. vehicle. So I really like the versatility of this product, and I love the price of this product. Moving on from there, guys, another thing that I a lot of times am using on the exterior of the vehicle, but at the end of the day, it's really just an all-purpose cleaner degreaser, and that is Muscle Magic. Muscle Magic from Superior Products. I typically have it diluted 10-1, but there are a lot of times I kind of dip and dabble with this product as well as far as the dilution ratio. There's a lot of times that I'll be using it more like 4-1 if I'm doing some heavy engine cleaning, like engine degreasing and all that kind of stuff. You can mix it up something more like 4-1, but a lot of the times I just have it mixed up 10-1 just for general usage. And this guy is another one of Superior Products, extremely dilutable. You could use it 10-1, 20-1. You can use it 8-1, 4-1. You can even use it full strength if you really needed to, but I never use this stuff full strength. But this is a very versatile all-purpose cleaner degreaser. It is very caustic, so I typically am not using this on interiors, but if you really wanted to, you could use it on some upholstery or some carpeting or even some plastics. But again, guys, I would bump up that dilution ratio if you're planning on using it on the interior. This stuff is kind of similar to Super Clean, but it is way more concentrated, meaning that you get way more for your money and it's more dilutable, and it has a ton of cleaning power. I think this is one of probably Superior Products' highest alkaline cleaner that they have. So this is one of my most used products. I use it all the time. If I'm just doing a maintenance wash and want to quickly clean the tires and the wheels, I'll hit it up with this, or I'll a lot of times just use Dark Fury all on its own for wheels. I also use this a lot of times to help pre-treat the vehicle when I'm doing a pre-wash. I'll use this on bugs. It really highly depends on the vehicle. If it has any chrome or anything like that on it, I tend to stay away from these type of cleaners. I'll use something more like another cleaner that we're going to be going over in a second, but something more like Road Warrior that's pH neutral, that does a lot of work when it comes to lifting the dirt and emulsifying everything, but it's not as caustic as this. So this cleaner is awesome, but depending on the vehicle, I'll use it a little sparingly because I don't want to chalk up wheels, I don't want to chalk up chrome and polished metals and stuff like that. So you do have to be a little bit careful with Muscle Magic because this is very caustic, but if you guys have it mix it up at the right dilution ratios, it's a very safe cleaner. I also add Muscle Magic to like soaps and stuff like that if I just want to make a little bit more alkaline of a pre-soak or something. So I use Muscle Magic in a ton of different ways, but if you guys are using it anything less than like 4-1, really think about what you're using it on, because this is a caustic chemical and can cause some caustic burns. So this is a great cleaner, and you can use it for a ton of different things, everything from maintenance washes and stuff like that to some really disaster exterior details to do some pre-soaks at some stronger dilution ratios. So anyways, guys, Muscle Magic, I use this for a ton of stuff. I even, on my soak cycle, a lot of times I put all my laundry in the washing machine on a soak cycle, and I'll put like 2 ounces of this in the laundry with whatever soap that I'm using for kind of my pre-soak of my towels in the laundry. So you can use this stuff in a ton of different ways. At the end of the day, it's just a really good all-purpose cleaner degreaser. This guy right here is Orange Blast from Superior Products. This is a citrus-based all-purpose cleaner degreaser, and it is actually uses the D-limonene is what its active ingredient is. So this is actually what they extract from, you know, citrus peels of some sort, and this guy right here is obviously an orange orange smelling one, and it's a really, really good smelling orange. But I love this stuff right here, especially for interiors and stuff like that. If I just have a little greasy spot or something. So I'll use this all the time at 4-to-1 on interiors, but there's tons of times that I also have been experimenting with this stuff on the exterior of the vehicle, whether that's just for tires, or sometimes I'll even put it in a foam cannon and foam it onto the vehicle for a pre-wash. So I've just kind of really been experimenting with this product right now, but I've really, really liked it, and it's definitely found a home in the detailing rig. So 4-to-1 for this guy has been awesome, and yeah, this is definitely one that I would try out from Superior Products. The next chemical that I carry in my detailing rig at all times is Purple X from Superior Products. Now, this is Superior Products iron remover, and it is one of my favorite iron removers on the market, and it just so happens to be one of the most cost-effective iron removers on the market because it is dilutable, and I really don't know that many other companies that are making dilutable iron removers, and this one right here, you dilute 1-to-1. That's just the standard dilution ratio for this stuff. I really haven't tried it at anything else. It works fantastic at 1-to-1, and you really don't need that much iron remover, whether you guys are working on wheel faces and barrels and stuff like that, or you guys are using something like this on the paint to help decon a vehicle. So this guy right here, I always use it at 1-to-1. I use it in conjunction with a clay bar to help decon a vehicle, and I also use it to help clean, like, disaster wheels pretty much. I don't use it a ton on maintenance vehicles. I might use this every once in a while on a maintenance vehicle if I feel like there's some extra contamination on there, but I really use this more for my disaster details and my bigger details, or right before a ceramic coating or something like that. So I really use this stuff sparingly, so a gallon of this stuff will really last you a really, really long time, and a single gallon of this from Superior Products actually makes 2 gallons because you're diluting it 1-to-1. So fantastic product from Superior Products. It's kind of a little bit of a secret when it comes to iron removers, just because this is an awesome economical iron remover. It works really, really good. It totally stinks, but it is a really, really good iron remover. Totally just smells like straight sulfur, but I love it, especially because it's dilutable. Up next is one of my absolute all-time favorite products from Superior Products, and that is Road Warrior from Superior Products. And I actually typically just carry it in my vehicle at full strength, and I'm typically using it in a foam cannon. Now, I also started using it recently in an actual pump sprayer at 5-to-1, and that way I don't have to bust out my foamer when I really just want to use it to quickly clean some wheels. Like, let's say I'm cleaning some polished aluminum wheels. This stuff works fantastic. It's pH neutral. It's a soap base, but it also does a little bit of degreasing if the wheels have a little bit of something on them from the road. But for the most part, this is a very, very gentle cleaner, but at the same time, it is a really powerful cleaner to help emulsify and lift all that dirt off the surface. So I really, really love Road Warrior from Superior Products, and my most used use case for it is as a pre-soak for a vehicle before I get into the contact wash, and for that I'm typically using 2 to 4 ounces of this stuff in a foam cannon, in a traditional foam cannon, and in my regular foam, in my no dilution foam cannon, I'm able to just put this stuff straight in to the foam cannon. It is very, very, very viscous. I don't know if you guys can quite see that on camera, but it is a very, very liquidy soap. It's more of a detergent, if you will. But this is an awesome, awesome pre-soak, and it was actually designed for, I believe, the New York Transit Authority to clean all their buses and the train and all that kind of stuff. So this is an awesome, really, really powerful cleaner, but at the same time, it's pH neutral. You can use it on ceramic coatings, you can use it on anything, and you can even use it as a regular bucket wash soap or a contact wash soap. So really, really lubricious, and yeah, I love this soap a ton. And honestly, I've really been thinking about making this my only soap that I have in my detailing rig, other than my next soap that we're going to talk about, which this guy right here is Dirt Buster. I love Dirt Buster. I like to carry a traditional wash soap, but honestly, I've been using it less and less these days, and really I've been using this more on those extremely bad disaster details when I really just want maximum dwell time. I'll either use Dirt Buster from Superior Products, or I'll use Cherry Foam from Superior Products, but I'm really just using these as like a good surfactant, and a lot of times I'm mixing something like Muscle Magic in with this in a foam cannon, foaming it onto the vehicle, letting that dwell for a good amount of time, and then getting into like my just rinse down for my pre-wash stage, stuff like that. So I really don't use traditional soaps a lot anymore, especially since I've really moved to a rinseless wash contact phase, and I've also really just moved over to using Road Warrior for honestly a majority of my details these days, and it's pH neutral. This stuff is like I believe like an 8 on the pH scale, so a little bit higher than neutral, but still very close to neutral. Cherry Foam and Dirt Buster definitely see themselves in here from time to time. Right now I have Dirt Buster in here. But again, I've kind of just been thinking about moving over to just primarily Road Warrior. So anyways, guys, let's talk next. Let's just knock out this guy right here, the rest of these bottles. This guy right here is Aqua Gloss from Superior Products. This is you guys can use this as a tire dressing. You guys can use this as an interior dressing. It's pretty much, you guys can use it to dress plastics on the exterior of the vehicle. And I typically use this stuff in a little detail sprayer just like this guy right here, and I've done an entire video on how I do this kind of stuff, and I also had tutorials just kind of showing my process once we get to this step. So if you guys want to see more on that, you guys totally can, but I typically carry this at 3-to-1 in here, and that's so it sprays nicely out of my detail sprayer. But 3-to-1 is also just a really good dilution ratio, whether you guys want to wipe it on with some kind of applicator, or you guys want to put it in a detail sprayer of some sort. But this guy is also one of those products that you guys can pretty much dilute to taste. If you guys want to bump this thing up to 5-to-1, let's say, you guys could totally do that and get a little less protection, but at the same time it's going to be a lot more of a satin or a matte finish on the surface. Or you guys could bump this all the way up to full strength, and put it on your tires, get a little bit more gloss and all that kind of stuff. Or you can even use this on leather at full strength, get a little bit more protection, a little bit more shine if that's your thing. But this guy you can totally dilute to taste. I typically use it at 3-to-1 for pretty much everything, whether I'm dressing the interior of a vehicle, my plastics, my leathers, or I'm putting it on tires on the exterior of the vehicle, and then just kind of wiping that in with an applicator to kind of get the right sheen to the tires and to take off any extra. So anyways, guys, Aqua Gloss, this is an awesome industry standard. A ton of professionals use Aqua Gloss to dress their vehicles, and you can use it in a ton of different ways, and you can pretty much dilute it however you guys want. Up next, this is Superior Products Leather Lotion. I totally need to make all new labels for all of my bottles. They're totally getting kind of sun faded or whatever, but this guy right here is Superior Products Leather Lotion. Their leather lotion is awesome, guys. It is a really good leather lotion, but I really don't use this a ton. I really only use this on the more premium vehicles or clients that I really think are going to appreciate the leather lotion on there. Otherwise, on a client's vehicle, a lot of times I'm just dressing it with Aqua Gloss and calling it a day for the sake of time. And this stuff right here is a little bit more expensive than Aqua Gloss, and you have to use it full strength, all that kind of stuff. So I primarily find myself using Aqua Gloss over actual leather conditioner. But both are gonna condition leather really, really good. But this is a little bit more, leaves a little bit more of a natural finish, I would say, and it's a little less slick than Aqua Gloss. Great, great conditioner, but honestly, with a lot of the professional details that I'm doing these days, Aqua Gloss has been my go-to dressing for leather. So if you guys wanted to, you totally could skip out on that. Or you could just offer a premium leather service like I do and use leather conditioner. Up next, guys, this one is not from Superior Products. This is Tech 582 from Technician's Choice. And the only reason that I have this guy, to be honest with you guys, is because Superior Products doesn't have a ceramic detail spray yet. That's all I'm gonna say on that, but I got a little contact over the past week, and we're just gonna leave it there. If you watch my videos, now you guys got a little bit of a lowdown, but expect some changes and expect some cool things to be happening over at Superior Products in the very, very near future. But we're gonna leave it at that for the ceramic detail spray. Anyways, if I sparked your interest at all, I know my interest is sparked. But anyways, guys, this guy right here, this is Zap It from Superior Products. This is my #1 carpet shampoo, guys. This stuff will pretty much take out a majority of the stains that you guys are going to see as professional detailers, and it does a great job at refreshing upholstery and carpeting. And the smell of this guy is almost addicting. It is so good. But anyways, guys, this has an awesome citrusy smell to it, and it just works phenomenally well on carpeting. And honestly, I use this stuff pretty sparingly. I really only use a couple ounces per vehicle, and I'm primarily targeting the stains and stuff like that. And I'm usually using this guy right here. This is Does It All Enzyme Cleaner from Superior Products, and I typically use this for all of my upholstery and carpeting pre-treatment. So I'll go over the entire vehicle at the very start of my shampoo process, get everything a little damp with this stuff right here. This is Does It All Enzyme Cleaner, and I actually use this stuff at 5:1. So a little bit of a weird dilution ratio for Superior Products. A lot of their stuff is like, you know, 4:1 or 10:1. This guy right here, I use 5:1, and it works really good to just help refresh the carpeting and get rid of a lot of those nastier smells and stuff like that that might be hiding in the carpeting and upholstery. So Does It All Enzyme Cleaner, this has been my go-to enzyme cleaner. It's also their cheapest enzyme cleaner. They have another one called Heavy Duty Enzyme Cleaner. I use that all the time on really bad, really disaster type smelly details. But for the most part, guys, I really don't run into a lot of those vehicles, so I'm normally using Does It All Enzyme Cleaner because it's cheaper, a little bit more cost effective, and you can also dilute it a lot more. Heavy Duty Enzyme Cleaner, I'm typically using full strength, and this guy right here, I'm typically diluting it 5:1. So you get a lot for your money with Does It All Enzyme Cleaner. It works really good for the majority of the vehicles that I see, and it works phenomenally well as a pre-spotter for carpet and upholstery. Alright guys, the only other chemical that I carry here in the back of the vehicle is this guy right here. This is just an IPA mix, and I really just use this when I need to do stuff. If I'm doing a scratch removal, if I'm doing a paint transfer removal and I need to polish when I'm done. Really the only time I'm using this thing is if I'm busting out a polisher, and a lot of times I'm just using it on small areas. So this is my IPA mix. I typically just mix it up like 3:1. So typically 3 parts water, 1 part alcohol, so 4 total parts. I just kind of eyeball it most of the time, but this is my IPA mix, and I always carry some type of IPA mix in the vehicle just in case I need it. But as you guys can see, it is completely full, and I really only use it when I'm polishing and doing some of the higher end work, I guess you could say, and occasionally I use it to help clean glass. So that's really the only stuff that I use IPA mix for, but I use this pretty sparingly and really only when I need to, but I definitely would suggest carrying IPA mix with you in case you do need something to completely clean an area, take off all the oils, grease, all that kind of stuff. IPA mix works really, really good. So I actually have a couple more products hiding over on the side of the vehicle. So really quickly, let's go over those couple of chemicals that I also carry. Here we are at the side of the vehicle, and over here, I kind of carry my specialty chemicals. Some of this stuff I use a little sparingly, or I will only be using a very small amount per detail. And for that, we're gonna start off with O and R. This is, we already kind of went over it, but this is just O&R. You can use it in a million different ways. One of my most popular ways of using O&R outside of a rinseless wash is actually just to rinse down the interiors. I typically like to have a bucket of O&R 256 to 1 right next to me when I'm doing an interior detail, and I'll actually use that to help rinse down panels, plastic panels, all that kind of stuff, and it just leaves a nice finish on the surface. That way it's prepped and ready to go for whatever detail spray I want to use. And some of my clients opt to not even have detail spray in their vehicle. So O&R has been great for me, and I can use it in a ton of different ways. So yeah, I love this stuff, whether I'm using it for a maintenance wash or I'm using it for an interior. O&R is definitely one of my go-tos. Now, one of the newest chemicals that I've been playing with from Superior Products is their glass cleaner. I love Superior Products glass cleaner. It works really, really good. I use it in the house. I use it for all my details and stuff like that these days, and you really only need the tiniest little spray of this stuff to get the job done. So it actually is extremely economical, even though you're paying, you know, 10 or so bucks up front for this stuff. It actually, you use such a small amount of it. I can use this stuff for over a month before I need to buy a new can. So this stuff has been awesome for me, and I'm really, really liking Superior Products glass cleaner, and it means that I don't need to carry around another spray bottle in the vehicle. But there's also tons of times that I clean vehicles, the glass, with something simple, just with like an IPA mix, distilled water even, or I'm using Tech 582 because it leaves a little bit of protection on the glass. So either way, guys, I have this stuff in the vehicle for when I want to use a dedicated glass cleaner. Now, my next product that I've been using, and this stuff will make you a decent amount of money, guys, but that is the interior shampoo from Superior Products. Now, there are on occasion times when I'll have a client come by that they'll want to get the smallest detail package that I offer for the interior. And with that, we don't offer stain removal and shampoo and all that kind of stuff, but this stuff right here, I can use on a seat just to wipe away a little stain or something on the seat, and this stuff only takes a half a second to do, and it is an aerosol based spray, but it's one of those chemicals that you're only going to use a tiny bit of, and it works really, really good. I think my best example of this stuff right here is I had somebody call me, had a Subaru, I believe it was Subaru WRX, and it was a really nice vehicle, but after work, his brother mistakenly had something on his pants and got it on the seat. Now, he didn't want to get a whole detail, but he wanted me to come by and just see what I could do with the stain that was on there. So I sprayed a little bit of this stuff on the stain, wiped it off with a microfiber towel, let it dry. The stain looked perfect. The seat looked perfect. So I was in and out of there in less than 10 minutes, and that was 65 bucks for a service call. So super easy. This stuff will really work. So anyways, this stuff is awesome. It works in a pinch, and I love this stuff so far. And it's a great shampoo. I just typically am using other things when I'm doing like a full shampoo package because this stuff costs a little bit more. I think it was 10 or 12 bucks. So yeah, great product, but I do use it very sparingly. But this stuff is awesome so far. Instant Shine from Superior Products. Now, this is another one of those products that I use extremely sparingly, and that's because I really don't like using this stuff, but sometimes I will use it on an engine bay if I'm just doing a basic engine cleaning, just want to give it a little bit of shine on the plastics. I'll also use this sometimes on like a very beat up interior. I'll use something more like Instant Shine versus Aqua Gloss because this stuff right here is what I like to call a scratch hider. It works great on certain vehicles, but it's not something you're going to use on a well-maintained, kept-up vehicle. This stuff is for the vehicles that really need a product like this to help hide some imperfections, but it's not something that you're typically going to use on your average vehicle. But I do carry a can of this stuff in the vehicle just in case I want to use it on a certain vehicle. Up next, guys, this is our very last Superior product that we're going to be talking about today. This is Coverall from Superior Products. This is the stuff that I use on a pinch to just dress up the tires on that everyday driver. And you guys would actually be surprised how many of my clients ask for a dressing like this versus a dressing like Aqua Gloss. They want the maximum shine. They want the stuff to last for as long as possible. And Coverall does last for a good amount of time, and it is very shiny. So some people really like that look. Even me personally, on my Range Rover, it has Pirelli tires on it, and something with a little bit of extra gloss just looks really good, in my opinion, on those particular tires. So I do like using Coverall from time to time on certain client vehicles, and even on my own personal vehicle. I prefer these silicone dressings. I know that's an unpopular opinion, but I totally love Coverall from Superior Products, and I use it all the time. And our very last chemical in the detailing rig, this guy will save you so much time when it comes to adhesive removal. There are tons of times that I'm working on semi-trucks that have to replace their lettering and stuff like that, or their vinyls that are on the side of the semi-truck. This stuff right here will literally melt away any kind of adhesive, any kind of sticky stuff, tar, it even will work on. It works for so many different things that may be stuck on top of your paint. This stuff will literally just melt it away. I typically am using this in conjunction with a little plastic razor blade to just kind of wipe everything up while after this sits on there for a couple seconds. But this stuff works so good at adhesive removal, and yeah, it's a little pricey. I think it's 35 or 40 bucks a can, so it's definitely not the cheapest stuff on the market, but is definitely worth its weight. So yeah, I would definitely pick up some 3M adhesive remover. It'll just save you a ton of time over most other adhesive removers out on the market, and you can use it on a lot of other sticky type stuff like tar and whatnot. So definitely check out 3M Specialty Adhesive Remover. So those are all the chemicals that I actually carry in my detailing rig on an everyday basis. I always have these chemicals in my vehicle, and this has changed from time to time and has changed over time, the chemicals that I'm carrying in my vehicle, but for the most part, a lot of these chemicals have been in here since I started my business 3 years ago. So I can definitely attest to a lot of these chemicals just being good for business, smart buying decisions. All of them are super economical, highly dilutable, and work really good. Superior Products is one of those chemical companies that let the chemicals do the talking for them, and they don't do a ton of marketing in order to hype up their brand, and that's something that I really like about them, and that's something that helps keep the cost down for my business, and so that I can make a little bit more of a profit at the end of each day, which is extremely important to me as somebody who is just starting a detailing business. And in fact, I just had my 3-year anniversary on the 11th of this month. So yeah, Jamie's Detailing has officially turned 3 years old. So that is super exciting. And these products that I've been using for the past 3 years or so, guys, have really helped my business survive and for us to make a good profit at the end of each and every day that we're actually out doing a detail. So anyways, guys, in the comments down below, let me know some of your guys' top favorite Superior products that you've replaced other products from other brands. There are a ton of brands out there, but at the end of the day, I'm looking for a brand that the chemicals do what they need to do, and I'm not spending an arm and a leg on. So that's really the biggest reason that I settled on Superior products, aside from the fact that they're US based and they're even based right here in Illinois, and they're extremely easy to get. In fact, guys, I get all of my Superior products these days over at O'Reilly's Auto Parts. I find them to be the quickest way to get a lot of the chemicals and stuff that you need, but I've actually been dabbling a little bit more with ordering all my parts or ordering all my chemicals from Napa. Napa is now selling Superior products. They almost have the full entire catalog uploaded to their website. So there are a couple cleaners on there that I was noticing I could not order, like Does It All Enzyme Cleaner, for whatever reason was not available at Napa. So I am still kind of bouncing back and forth between the two. If I need something right away the same day, I'm guarantee you I'm probably ordering it at O'Reilly's. They're pretty much guaranteed to have it within 4 hours or so of when I detail at the store ready to pick up. Napa Auto Parts, if you order early in the morning, they can a lot of times have it delivered same day to the store. But Napa actually, for the most part, especially with their discount codes and stuff like that, they actually have better pricing. They have a AAA discount code. So if you guys are AAA members, you get an added 10% off. And they always have these little $5 off coupons. So if you guys just want to order one chemical that normally costs 15 bucks or so, like the other day I ordered Road Warrior. I think it's like 14 bucks normally. I got it out the door for like 9 bucks and 50 cents. So pretty insane prices if you guys order over at Napa, and they always have like different promotionals, so keep an eye out for little pop-ups for 20% off, all that kind of stuff over at Napa. So if you guys are doing a big bulk order and you guys have some time to wait, Napa is the place to go. But if you guys need chemicals the same day, Superior products same day, order them from O'Reilly's. They're just a little bit more reliable and seem to have more in stock at the warehouses the same day. Anyways, guys, I talked way more about all that stuff that I really wanted to, but I will do a little bit of a comparison video in the future on Napa versus O'Reilly's when it comes to price. The price difference actually surprised me quite a bit with my past couple Napa orders. I got like a $270, $280 order for like barely over $200. It was like $210 or something like that with the discounts from Napa. So already crazy pricing from Superior products has been getting even crazier now that they're selling at Napa as well. And they have Napas all over my city. They have O'Reilly's all over my city. So Superior products is stupid easy to get where I'm at. So anyways, guys, I love Superior products. I could talk about them all day, and they have a lot of new stuff coming here in the future. I just got a little word from the grapevine, if you will, that they're going to be coming out with some new products here in the future, and a couple of them we have been desperately waiting for them to come out with. I know I hinted at one of them earlier on in this video, but you guys know you will hear it from me first. I now have a tiny little contact. I've talked to him a couple times over at Superior Products, and he's been giving me the lowdown on some of the stuff that they've been doing in the lab. So anyways, guys, super excited for the future of Superior Products. I'm ready for them to take over the game, especially since they are, in my opinion, the American detail brand to buy bulk chemicals from. So anyways, guys, that is all that I had before I keep going. That is all that I had for today's video, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.